Welcome to another session with Guru Wonder. I'm your host, Gurvinder Singh. I've always been fascinated with enhancing the quality of life. In a world of plenty, what really is important is the quality of our life. How do we enhance the quality of our life? Well, one of the important things that enhances the quality of life is something called a third place. Let me explain. Humans are social animals. We band together in cohesive groups called tribes and communities. This provides safety, companionship, pleasure, learning, livelihood, and profit to individuals. Typically, a community comprises about 500 to 1,000 people, individuals. And they are connected by factors such as religious faith, profession, extended family, sport, politics, culture, etc. So, community vitally needs spaces where people can meet in a neutral environment and in an informal manner for individuals to socialize. Such a venue we would call a third place. Why do we call it a third place? The first place is where people reside. The second place is where people work, where they go to work. And the third place is where people go to socialize. Communities with vibrant third places develop into centers of shared learning, art, culture, sport, and wellness, and where people enjoy a much higher standard of living. A higher standard, not a higher standard of living, but a higher standard of quality of life. So, what are the requirements of a third place? Generally speaking, there are 8 factors that define a typical third place. Neutral ground. What do we mean by neutral ground? Occupants of third places do not have any legal obligation to be there. They are not tied down to the area financially, politically, legally, or otherwise, and they are free to come and go as they please. The second major factor is leveler. Third places place no particular importance on an individual's economic or social status in a society. There are no prerequisites or requirements that would prevent acceptance or participation in the third place. So, being a Sikh, we have a community kitchen where lunch is prepared by the community and served by the community. While the work is for community, there's also a lot of interaction, chatter, learning, gossip, prayer. This is how a community kitchen looks like, a langar. The third factor is conversation is a main activity. Not the main activity, but it is an important activity. Playful and happy conversation is the main, but not the only activity in third places. The tone of the conversation is usually light-hearted, humorous, and And somehow there is this feeling that religious places are where you have to be serious. Whereas that's actually, there should be places where we get liberated, to feel happy, to do whatever that improves the quality of our life. The fourth factor is accessibility and accommodation. Third places are open and readily accessible to those who occupy them. They are also accommodating to meet the wants of the inhabitants. It's even open to guests to come in if inhabitants wish to bring them into the group. The fifth factor is regulars. Every third place has regulars. These are several regulars who come there, and they give the third place its tone and help set up the mood and characteristics of the area. Regulars also assist newcomers to feel welcome and accommodated. For example, here is a yoga session in a place called the Elysium Club. People come regularly and enjoy the workout, and they develop friendships, and they just enjoy life. Here is another example. This is at the Hotfoot Sports. They have people meet. They're a group. They meet regularly to play football and cricket and badminton. This kind of a community that really builds around the activity that is there and helps them to bond. Now here is another place which is called the Offside Bar and Restaurant. If you've seen the serial called Friends, you would get an idea that these people come and they meet, and they are regulars. They enjoy the music, they enjoy the food and the drink, and then there's a very kind of there is a pulse which is so very important, that it makes you feel homely and yet enjoy the mood. Normally, the sixth factor that is there is that third places tend to have a low profile. They are characteristically wholesome. The inside of a third place is without extravagance or grandiosity, and has a kind of a homely feel. The seventh point, which defines which is characteristic of a third place, is that the mood is playful. The tone of conversation in a third place is never marked with tension or hostility or aggression. Instead, they have a playful nature where there's witty conversation and frivolous banter, and not only common but highly valued. And last factor which I can think of is that it gives a feeling of a home away from home. Occupants of third places will often have the same feeling of warmth, possession and belonging as they would in their own home. They feel a piece of themselves is rooted in that third place, and gain spiritual regeneration by being there. Urban centers with very large populations are mushrooming everywhere. People struggle to find third places because they are becoming increasingly rare. In many places, the third place is extinct. Then this desire of government to monetize every available square meter of public space makes it difficult, if not impossible, to create vibrant communities. There is this mistaken notion that malls and cinema halls are good third places. Well, a large number of people do congregate there. And they flock there, and they're physically present. But, emotionally and spiritually, they are not invested in the place. So you are alone in a crowd. This cannot qualify as a third space. Life without a community has produced a kind of a lifestyle consisting of residence to work and work to residence and back, this shuttle. That's all that life is. And it's not a coincidence that the helping professions are a major, probably one of the most, the largest and fastest growing employment sector. And in our economy, and leaders and planners unwittingly help destroy local public life and communities. Even when there are third places, are available, people really find the time to socialize. So shifting from large joint to small nuclear families and non-stop 24-hour work timings have also taken a big toll on families and communities. Now you couple this with stress created by authorities, the total disregard, from town planners, and encroachments, and sometimes unsafe environments. And this has actually destroyed our communities. So coming specifically to India, what are third places available to Indians? So places of religious worship are the most popular third places in India. They often provide the only succor available to people for safe socializing. And then we have priests demanding seriousness in prayer and conversing with God. But the real third place is not inside the religious place, but outside, where people gather, and then outside the place of worship, they gather, they gossip, they talk, and they socialize. And the marketplace, the village and town fairs and celebrating festivals often offer a form of community space. They tend to be fun, but does not satisfy fully the third place needs of individuals. There's still some third places available, and here is an example. This is an adda or tea stall where people meet over a cup of tea, chit-chat, and while away the time, read the papers, and what have you. What are the other third places that are available these days? Some of those that come to my mind are canteens, tea stalls, temples, dhabas, playgrounds, street corners, beach communities, prayer groups, community kitchens, and parks. These are for the simple people, but they are wholesome and extremely therapeutic and beneficial. Then for others, there are tea, coffee shops, bars and restaurants, sports and recreational clubs, sports facilities, and the like. No individual is an island. The social well-being and psychological health of individuals actually depend upon communities, which can only exist if they are vibrant third places. Third places are not a choice. They are a vital necessity and a precondition for healthy communities. For they create a kind of they creates the habit of public association and offer psychological support to individuals and communities. We keep talking about nation states. Nation states are a fairly recent phenomenon. Yeah, there have been big nations and all. But the brick is the local community. Historically, the real building blocks of humanity in a successful civilization are the family and the community. So, civilization and government should be judged by how well they satisfy the safety, livelihood, etc. needs and the quality of life of individuals and communities. To conclude, third places build strong and resilient communities, and that is the bedrock of a strong, tolerant, peaceful, healthy, vibrant, civilized world. And this is the best legacy that we can leave our children. Well, before I wind up, I have to acknowledge that this video was presented or was made based on the conversation with my son Pavit. Pavit Singh, our son, and his friend Nikki Dubois, they founded Hot Foot Sports in 2011, and then Pavit founded Elysium Clubs. Both were national award-winning organizations. And like most parents at the outset, I was confused. And I could not figure out what exactly it was that he was trying to do and achieve. He then wrote a piece out for me and to explain how he was going to set up many clubs to build a better world by reinforcing bonds between members of a community, which is the idea of the third place. And to him, I owe my thanks for this education and this input and my pride in his success. Well, thank you for being with me on this video. I hope you liked it, you found it useful, and if you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Until I see you again on my channel, this is Gurvinder Singh signing off. Thank you.